Alright guys, today we're going to be looking at system of equations through a little PowerPoint that I've got put together for you. So, for system of equations, it's whenever we have two equations, and we're going to try to find out when do those two equations equal each other. So to do that, we're going to be comparing, well, two people against each other, or in this case, two animated characters. We got Peter Griffin versus Homer. And here's our equations. We want to find the solution to these two equations. So what is Homer going to equal, and what's Peter going to equal to make this equation true? But those answers have to be true down here as well to make this one work. Okay, so you can always guess over and over and over until it ends up working. For example, we could try and say if Homer's 10, that'd be 10 and 10, that's 20. So 20 and 20 would equal 40, so Peter would be 20. So 10 plus 20 down here is 30. 30 plus 35 is 65. That doesn't work. So Homer does not equal 10 and Peter does not equal 20. And we could keep trying different things, maybe 11, maybe 12, maybe 5, until it worked. You could try that, or you could try to solve this system correctly. So in this case, we're trying to find out which one is worth more. Whoever's worth more, that's going to be our champion. So whichever one is worth more in this equation. So first, which one's a higher positive number? So the first one, well, first of all, we have to turn Homer into x and Peter into y. We could have done the opposite, but in this case, I made Homer x and Peter y. So every time I saw Homer in the previous screen, I turned it to x and Peter into y. So now that I've got my x's and my y's subbed in for Homer and Peter, now we got to solve and get y by itself on one side so that we can graph it on our calculators. So the first thing we need to do, we need to move these x's to the opposite side. And so to do that, to take this positive x to the other side, well, it changes to the opposite. Over here it's positive x, so over here I put minus x. Over here this one says positive x, so over here I put minus x. We're just changing to the opposite on the other side. And right here we have a positive y. Well, that's all I wanted. I wanted y equals by itself, and now I've got it. So that's it. Y equals 40 minus x minus x. And then down here we do the same. I want y by itself, so the things that are on the side with it have to jump to the opposite side, like the 35. So over here it's positive 35, so over here we get minus 35. Over here we had positive x, so on the other side we'll get minus x. We do the opposite. We're left with y by itself, so we're finished. So we get y equals 72 minus 35 minus x. And that is our second equation. So what we want to do at this point is pull up our graph and graph these two equations. So I go to the graph app. This already says y equals, so I plug in 40 minus x minus x. 40 minus x minus x. Enter to graph it. I can't see it, but that's okay. I'm going to graph the other side or the other equation as well. So tab for my next one. Second function was y equals 72 minus 35 minus x. And we graphed that one. Now that we have them both graphed, I can't see them, so I need to zoom out. So go menu, right here, zoom, zoom out. And I'm going to click in the middle until I can see both of them. There we go. And the intersection is right here. So to get those coordinates for that intersection, we go menu, analyze graph, intersection. Click one side on the left side of the graph, slide it across, click on the right, grab our answer and pull it where we can see it better. All right, so looking back, Homer was our x. Go ahead and move this out of the way. All right, so Homer was our x, so Homer equaled 3, and Peter was y, so Peter equaled 34. Peter was worth more, so Peter's our champ. For this round, for round 1, Peter was our champion. Homer was 3, Peter was 34. That little Peter dance. So here we go. Round 2, we've got the Hulk versus Thor. All right, so here's our two equations that we need to find the solution to. And we're going to find out who's the champion. Which one's worth more, the Hulk or Thor? So whenever I went through and did this one, I turned Thor into x and Hulk into y. And then we get these equations here. All right, Our next step would be to get y by itself on one side. So we need to move everything that's on the same side as y to the opposite side. This 2 is multiplying times this group right here, so it's part of the group as well. And so what we can do is we can take away that entire group and put it on the other side. So over here we'll get minus, because over here it's a positive group. So over here we get minus the group, minus 2 times x plus 11. That'll cancel it out on this side. So that's gone. And whenever I look, all I'm left with is a positive y. That's all I needed. Y equals, and then we got 86 minus 2 times x plus 11. Down here for the next equation, we want y by itself. Well, plus x is on the same side. So to get it on the opposite, we do the opposite. So instead of plus 6, we get, or sorry, I keep saying 6. It's an x. So instead of plus x, we get minus x. Okay? It takes that one off, and we get y equals 57 minus x. Not sure where I got 6 from. Okay, so we go ahead and look over here. Go to our graph app again, now that we have both equations as y equals. Let's write this one where I can see it. Y equals 57 minus x. And the graph app, we plug it in. Y equals, and then we had 86 minus 2 times x plus 11. That was our first equation. Enter to graph it. Tab for the second equation. This one's y equals 57 minus x. Enter to graph it, and zoom out until we can see both of them. Oh, there they go. They come up here, where they're going to touch. Right there is my intersection. Menu 6.4, Analyze Graph, Intersection. Click, slide, click. Here we go. And so let's recheck. Thor equaled x, so Thor was worth 7. And Hulk was worth 50. So x was 7, and y was 50. And so the Hulk is our champ that round. Let's go ahead and clear this before I move on. Okay. So again, Hulk wins that round. All right, next one, next problem. Find the solution to the system of equations below. Yet again, we need to turn it into y equals so we can graph it and find our solution, find our intersection. So this first problem here, this first equation, well, it's got a number over here multiplying times y. So I know I'm going to end up with a fraction at the end. You can go ahead and set it up now if you'd like, or you can move the x's first. All right, so I'm going to move the x's first. So the positive 5x gets put over here. Well, it was positive 5x, so that means it becomes the opposite, which is minus 5x. That's gone. And then again, anytime we have a number multiplying times y, we're going to end up dividing it. Okay, we're going to divide. And it's a positive 4, so a positive 4 goes on the bottom. The 4 is gone, we're left with y equals 36 minus 5x divided by 4. And our next equation, to get it set to y equals, well, we have a group over here, positive 2x. We need it on the opposite side, so we do the opposite of positive 2x, which is minus 2x. That's gone. And then over here we have a negative 6 multiplying times y. Well, to get it on the opposite side, to undo the multiplication, we divide it by that exact same number, negative 6. And now y is by itself. Y equals 30 minus 2x over negative 6. Now again, you can always go and do it a little bit different. Like I said earlier, you can do the fraction first if you really want to. It does work in this case. So what you could have done is said, okay, something's multiplying times y. Let's make it a fraction. The number multiplying by y is negative 6. That goes on the bottom. Move across my other groups. 2x. Positive 2x becomes minus 2x. We got the same answer we had before. Okay, it works both ways, guys. So y equals 30 minus 2x over negative 6. Now that we have both equations as y equals, we open up our graph app over here on the calculator, and we plug them in. So my first one was y equals, well, I need a fraction, control divide. There's my fraction. And we get on top 36 minus 5x. And on the bottom, 4. enter to graph it, tab for the next one, and another fraction. Control divide, 30 minus 2x on top, and on the bottom, a -6. Enter to graph it, make it a little bit larger, make it easier to see for us now that they're both graphed. All right, so now that we have it here, we're going to go menu 6-4 for our intersection, and there it is, 8.84 comma -2.05. So my x value equaled 8.84, and my y value equaled -2.05. So it would depend on what the question was asking you. Maybe it was asking for the x value. There you go. Maybe it was asking for the y value. There you go. Or maybe it was asking for the coordinate, and you still got it. But that's how you work it, guys. Turn it into y equals first, graph it, find your intersection.